Did you know that the deepest lake in the United States formed following a volcanic eruption so explosive that it caused an entire mountain to collapse in on itself? This is Crater Lake, and it sits inside the remnants of what used to be Mount Mazama. Mount Mazama is a volcano located in the Cascade Range in the Pacific Northwest, specifically in southern Oregon. Today, it doesn't look like much, rising to 8,157 feet with only 382 feet of prominence. But as recently as 8,000 years ago, Mount Mazama dominated the surrounding landscape, rising to over 12,000 feet above sea level. This would have made it taller than mountains like Mount Hood or Mount Baker, and roughly the same size as Mount Adams, shown here. However, just 7,700 years ago, which is essentially yesterday in geologic time, Mount Mazama produced the largest known eruption in the Cascade volcanic arc in at least the last million years. This eruption was so large and it ejected so much magma that it effectively drained the magma chamber located beneath the mountain, causing Mount Mazama to collapse in on itself. The collapse of the summit reduced the height of the mountain by nearly a mile, and it formed a large depression called a caldera. In the years following the massive eruption, smaller eruptions formed volcanic features within the caldera, but eventually the depression cooled, allowing rain and snow to accumulate within. Over the next roughly 720 years, enough precipitation accumulated to fill the caldera with nearly 2,000 feet of water, forming what is now known as Crater Lake. With a maximum depth of 1,949 feet, Crater Lake is the deepest lake in the United States and the 10th deepest lake in the entire world. But measured by mean depth, Crater Lake is actually the 5th deepest lake in the world, with an average depth of water of 1,157 feet. In addition to being so deep, Crater Lake is also famous for being incredibly blue. Because the lake is fed exclusively by precipitation, it contains nearly pure water, with very little sediment, algae, or pollution to discolor it. Crater Lake is so blue that the first non-Native American settlers to see it named it the Deep Blue Lake in 1853, and it was so spectacular that it became one of America's first national parks just 49 years later in 1902. Today, if you visit the lake, you'll see that it contains two small islands that were both formed by the smaller volcanic eruptions that I mentioned earlier. The larger of the two is called Wizard Island, and it's shown here. It stands only 700 feet above the water's surface, but when measured from base to summit, it actually rises over 2,700 feet,